Hey guys, let's get into a game with the Rooster. This is going to be a replay analysis. So our options aren't too good here. Seems like the cost control is the best just because we do get some more economy from this. Supply you could arguably is okay too. Just go crawlers with this, but we don't need the arc lights and we don't need the balls. So you have to end up selling out of those. Cost control is pretty good because it doesn't allow us to do like a round two fire hound oil play without having to borrow. So yeah, and everything we have is pretty good. Like the crawlers are good, the Mustangs are decent, and we go up against the storm crawlers. The storm crawlers are yeah, it's good that we have crawlers into this. So we decide what we want to do. We want to go either Arclight or we want to go either Hounds. Since we want to do the Ray oil cheese kind of right away, then we just go straight into the Hound. It's kind of like not disguising what we're doing, but it just kind of sucks to buy Arclights, then sell out of them right away. So obviously the Hounds is the better play here. So we end up doing that. We go with kind of like some kind of default standard positioning here, and obviously we're not going to do too well into this, but that's fine. We're not looking to win round one. We're setting up for a round two Ray oil cheese. All right, so this looks like something we just skip. We go straight into Phantom Race. And it looks like we can, if we sell a Mustang, we will have enough to click the two technologies. Now it's only 2 Phantom Rays, 2 Hounds, but that's enough to light up like these 2 pockets. Adding more Phantom Rays doesn't necessarily spread the fire that much more. You could say another Phantom Ray in the middle will be good, perhaps another Hound in the middle, but these are the more critical ones. These are like the starter packs. So we have our immediate Ray oil, and the opponent goes for the Phoenix. So that's like the best possible thing he could have done. And he's just going blind. He was just trying to maybe create some new problems, or he's trying to get some DPS on the ground. But it turns out it's the best possible thing he could have done. So yeah, I would say 10 out of 10 for what the Rooster did there. And it's not going to end that well for us, unfortunately. But we got unlucky there. Usually they don't go for 2 Phoenixes. Okay, so now he knows who we are. So Rooster goes straight into the Raiden. That makes a lot of sense. For us, I was thinking about some of the options, like Marksman could have been good if he goes into Raiden or if he goes to the Wraith. But we've just had some bad experiences with, relying on Marksman. I think it's just better to get the money. So that is what we do. We get the money from the Wraith, we sell it. More Phantom Rays. Put them in the middle, and we have enough to go shield. And the shield is going to be super important, especially when it comes to units like the Raiden and the Phoenix, because before they almost one-shot. I mean, the Phoenix 2 shots, but the Raiden 1 shots. But now it's going to require like 4 shots from the Phoenix, 2 shots from the Raiden. So it drastically increases their survivability by more than double. And that means that, it can get on top of the Raidens, as we see here. Now, tower timing is kind of neutral for us. It's not good, it's not bad, but we do have this one Raiden. It looks like we're going to actually win our first round here. And that's to be expected. Whenever we borrow for the shield, we expect to have a huge power spike because we just have so much tankiness. So we skip because we feel like we don't really have much to EMP. This is a great EMP from Rooster. It's going to permanently disable the shields off of these. It's also going to take out the oil, but the oil isn't a huge deal. Now he adds the crawlers in the front, and still no technologies, but the crawlers in the front kind of make our chaff die a little quicker. It doesn't do super much, but it kind of does a little something. It's probably a pretty decent play, and now we just get absolutely worked. So it looks like our strategy is just a complete failure against this Raiden spam. So Rooster goes for the EMP again. And what do? Do we go for the incendiary just to burn things, or maybe an EMP of our own? Or let's see. So we go for the EMP of our own. And I think we EMP this, and right at the time where he actually texts the Raiden. And now we start going into the Phantom Ray's best friend when it comes to dealing with Raidens. And that's going to be Wasp Chaff. Wasp Chaff is going to be pretty important here, especially since we any ground chaff we're building is just going straight into the fire. So we don't have any chaff at all, pretty much. But the Wasp Chaff is going to survive the fire. And it's gonna cause a lot of it's gonna add a lot of bodies for the Raidens to deal with, and we have enough to actually tech into the shield. And that is what we do. We have 50 left over, and it might make sense to just put a missile here, just so we don't kind of like end up kind of like wasting the fire. Like the fire will land more in the back. See, the fire lands here, but look at this. The fire is going to land right at where his chaff is. His chaff is still alive. Like, we need to wait for the fire to come back online. All the units are stuck on the chaff here, but here we're going almost directly into the I mean, we should have one arc light, and then we're directly into the meaty targets. Here we're only just getting into the meaty targets, but it still seems like we have enough because of all the body blockers. So seems like our investment into the wasps with shields has been paying off, as we're able to turn this around. We didn't even have to borrow this round either, so that's also good. All right, here's the unit drop round. So Rooster goes in the Farseer, which makes a lot of sense. We go the Farseer, but we sell it. I think Rooster also does the same thing here. So now we decide, okay, that looked pretty good, but it will be even better is the cloak. Because then when you have the cloak, because right now the Phantom Rays are still like kind of in front of the wasps, so the Raidens still shoot at the Phantom Rays. But if we have cloak on, then I was thinking, well, maybe then they're gonna like just only target the wasps. Right, it's going to help with the survivability. At least that's the thought. Not sure if that's correct. The missiles worked so good last round, so we put 2 more missiles down. Rooster goes for the Wasp with range and aerial spec. That's the perfect answer to what we're doing. It's going to... With the Wasp, he doesn't really even need Raidens. If he just goes mass Wasps like this, we're going to get wrecked. So let's see how this works. Good thing we put those missiles down. We were able to clear that initial fire, so now the fire already lands on his chaff. So we're kind of directly going into the air battle here. And it's looking good. I mean, he does have the elite Wasp recruiting, but we kind of just have too much HP. And we're kind of able to just like power through, but long term, you know, his wasps, you know, if they get a number, are definitely going to be able to overcome us. So that's another huge round for us. And it looks like here, the lightning storm is great. We both choose it because of the wasps. The wasps die to the lightning, but the Phantom Rays don't really die, and neither do the Raidens. But the Phoenixes will die so we both choose the correct spell. And let's see what we're gonna do. So we borrow, we get our temp range, put down our missiles, right? And what do? Just go into more Phantom Rays? Okay. So just go into more Phantom Rays here. I mean, it's not ideal, but I just kind of was in a situation where if we don't know what to build, let's just build more Phantom Rays. Now, Rooster puts down more chaff here, and he puts down these anti-missile devices because he doesn't like to see that first crawler getting missiled. In reality, he probably didn't need the shield. I mean, well, the shield probably still helps, but the anti-missile is going to be what prevents the fire from igniting in the first place. So maybe, I'm not quite sure if he needs both or which one is better, but that's his play here. He dodges the correct, he dodges out of the correct one, which is very interesting because like we're attacking, well, I guess we're going for the Phoenix. That's why he knows we're gonna go here. So this is indeed doing something. We haven't been able to ignite anything. But good thing we clear out his wasps here. But he still has 2 packs, and the fire does ignite here. So we end up losing this, which kind of makes sense. This never ends up igniting. It looks like we do get the missile device here, which is a good thing. And it looks like we'll be able to take care of these 2 Raidens. But it doesn't look like we're going to have enough to beat the main army. Alright, so that's going to be a pretty good round for Rooster. So Rooster goes the fire control system, which makes a lot of sense. You obviously put the fire control system on your wasp here for sure. Not sure where you put it on this wasp. It should probably be on a level 3 wasp. We just skip because we're not really going into the wasp battle. We've already decided that the only way we're losing this, it's pretty clear. And the only way we could come back is with the factory. I mean, if you've watched some of our other games, you know, we know that the factory is the answer to both the Wasp and the Raiden. And it needs to be on the line here because everything's so far back that, like, we need the air army to lock onto the war factory while our air army is just, like, you know, coming from behind to clean up. So we sell out of a Phantom Ray because we don't need that many Phantom Rays. Our Phantom Rays are effectively not doing a lot given the counter is very strong. We get the armor. We kind of make a gamble that he's not going EMP. So it is a gamble, but... And interestingly, the opponent goes for more Fangs and techs them. It's a very strange play here because you would imagine that he just needs more wasps, or maybe he feels like he has enough wasps, but you would imagine that what's working is the wasps. So just keep going more elite recruit wasps, maybe even with the elite spec, or go more Raidens, maybe with like the chain, you know. So a mixture of those is probably what I would do, just because our whole army is in the air. By going for the Fangs, you're basically saying that like we're going to, the Fangs are just gonna, the shielded Fangs are going to stop the Phantom Rays and the Wasps like dead in their tracks, while the air army just picks them off. So it's another way of approaching the same thing, but he's using the stall tactic. But what I don't think is makes sense for Rooster is that, like, the fire, yeah, this side lit the previous round, this side didn't light, but this side might have lit, and maybe even if it lights from here, it could potentially spread over. So I feel like he's playing with fire here, to be frank. You would think that shielded Fangs are not going to be great into potential fire. Now, he does have the shields and stuff, but I mean, it's a very slippery slope, because if this ignites, I mean, you know, that's a lot of deployments. That's a lot of supply kind of getting, you know, wasted. But in any case, we just go with our War Factory, and we hope that, you know, the War Factory is able to just tank. So Here, the hounds are still alive. Now everything ignites. And that's the one thing that, you know, I was saying is, you know, I guess if we didn't go with the War Factory, maybe this doesn't ignite, but there's just too much of a risk. If you just go more wasps and just keep taking that, you don't have to worry about the ground lighting. Like, the air army, his air army just beats our air army. And there's very little we can do. Like, the fire, you know, yeah, it's better to, if the fire's on, if the ground is on fire, it's better to just ignore it and just go pure air, you know, in my opinion. So this looks like, you know, this looks like we're getting close to winning the game here, but we still need to win one more round. And now we get the other unit drop. We end up going for the sledgehammer just because the fire is already there. The scorpions, I mean, we're not going scorpion into the fangs. Sandworm is a possibility. It's kind of like a distraction tank thing, but probably dies too quickly. But I was considering this, the sandworm, but it is level 1. So we do go for the sledges. And I was thinking, well, usually we have to win the game right away once we go with the War Factory. Having a round 2 War Factory, like once we show that we have a War Factory, it is a very, very precarious situation because the opponent's just going to put a melter down here, right? So this time we at least tried to change it up a bit. We use these higher level sledges as tanks, and we just go with the two War Factories in the corner. So kind of like changing positions a bit. And we do have the tanks in front to act as chaff in case he puts a melter. Usually they would put a melter here and a melter here, just so in case we do these kind of shenanigans, you know, he can get both of them, and they'll also go to the middle. So instead, the opponent goes for the, he doesn't know if we're going to sell it, goes for EMP, and then he goes for more elite recruit wasps. But I kind of feel like that's not going to be enough to answer the War Factories here. You kind of really need a melter. So now it's looking like, okay, we're kind of getting on top, but the air army is engaging each other, and it's kind of not looking that great. You know, all of a sudden, like, you know, it's a very close fight. Here we actually lose. Here we just barely win, and we get the tower, which I think kind of seals the deal here. Now the question is, are we able to kind of get over here before? And I think so, because everything's locked on. So I don't think these, we're very worried about these wasps turning around, but they're not going to turn around once they're locked on. So it looks like we are actually able to clean this up. And that's going to be the game. So this isn't the first time we played against Rooster. This might have been one of the first times where we used the Ray Oil technique. Perhaps, you know, one of the first times. But our current win-loss against the Rooster is probably around 10 losses. And this is our first win. So I've always regarded the Rooster as maybe the most difficult opponent that we can get a win against. So to finally get our first victory, we're extremely happy about that. And yeah, I mean, you know, we all know who Rooster is. He's you know, one of the most articulate and has the best you know, understanding of the game out of all the streamers. So yeah, it is amazing that the strategy was able to work against such a legend. So yeah, so I wanted to go back and analyze something here. Like when we went for the War Factory, I was actually thinking the more he goes for the wasps, and you know, he has a phoenix, the more we actually want to go AA fort. So let's just take a look here. So we're at round 8 and here's round 9. So we do basically 1100 damage. Okay, so let's see in an alternative scenario if how the AE fort would have done here. So we'll just skip because we're only going to build a couple forts, and we're not going to be able to see value out of more than 3 forts here. So we'll go for our AA. I think we just put it like here, maybe in the middle. Put everything on the same line. What do we sell out of? I think we sell out of the same Phantom Ray, maybe. Yeah, let's just sell out of a Phantom Ray. We'll go for the 2 missiles because we don't know if he's going to necessarily try to dodge or anything. And 200 left over. Go tap range. I don't know, maybe temp speed. Alright, so let's see how this does. Alright, so these missiles are going to be blocked. Initial fire is blocked. But as long as these hounds are still alive, they're behind all the other like chaff, and they're gonna have an opportunity to reignite the fire, which is now, and both fires do ignite. Oh, okay, so we actually got a raid in there with the Fort AA. The Fort AA is extremely good against the wasps, and the wasps are our biggest issue here. Alright, so we do much more damage, 1600. And so actually the War Factory play here wasn't the greatest play. We could have ended the game right then and there with the Fortress AA. Problem is, if you can't end the game right away with the War Factory, I think most of the time you lose, because then it's going to be a melter into War Factory, and the melters, once the melters start scaling, your War Factories keep losing round after round. You're down so much supply. So the War Factory is very much like it's either something you do when you're really ahead just to seal the deal and, you know, hope it doesn't turn out to be a throw. In this case, the way safer option to play this was the Fort AA, because we just had to kill the wasps, and you could tell even with 2 forts we were able to take out the raiding, so that was pretty surprising. Yeah, so anyways, hopefully we can learn from our mistake there. The War Factory, maybe instead of the War Factory we can go with the Fortress, seeing that he has a lot of wasps, and even into the Raidens. I even had games where I replayed it. There was a game against the Rat where I replayed it, and yeah, had we just gone Fortress AA, we would have been able to win against a low number of boats with wasps as well. So I think the Fort AA is starting to be our our next step in this composition. Like, adding more Fort AA seems to be really good. We did win a game against the Rat, I think, with using Fort AA. And so anyways, we're happy to finally get a victory against the Legend. And hopefully we can keep this up. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.